Good evening. This is Jimmy Davies with Every Black event. And every Thursday night at 8 o'clock, we have a different Every Black family expert. And tonight we have Mr. Dorian Carter of Onpointe Partners located in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, Onpointe Partners is a commercial real estate consulting and development firm whose mission is to transform underserved communities. The company's principles are to provide world-class service that far exceeds their customers' expectations, to bring real-world solutions to their clients that increase profitability, uncover new revenue streams, and reduce operational cost, and to make a transformational impact in the communities in which they operate, to expand opportunities for employees, contractors, and vendors to provide phenomenal growth in their personal lives, family, and professional careers. And so tonight we have Mr. Dorian Carter who'll be talking to you about utilizing real estate to build wealth and transform communities. So thank you, Mr. Carter, for being on tonight.
Well, thank you for having me, Jimmy. It's a pleasure. Man, I almost didn't recognize myself the way you introduced me, but that is our company, and that's what our mission statement is based on, and also how we feel about our customers and employees. And so I'd like to definitely expound on our mission statement to give it the full mission statement. And I'm Dorian Carter, the president of Onpointe Partners. We're located in Charlotte, North Carolina, but we do business throughout the Southeast, primarily though in North Carolina, several parts of North Carolina that include Eastern, Western, Triad areas, also Raleigh-Durham area. And our mission statement is to create systematic change in urban communities by developing properties that promote economic growth. So tonight I want to talk to you about how we do that, and also how you can do that as well. First, Jimmy did talk about he mentioned a couple of ways we do that, and one is through development consulting. And the first and primary way we do that is we work with a lot of nonprofits that have ideas, but as you know, nonprofits sometimes struggle with keeping funds coming in, grants. And we believe that nonprofits can set themselves up in ways that allow them to have an income stream, especially when it comes to real estate. So one example is if you're a CDC and you happen to be developing housing, you want to find out some way to keep ownership of some of those houses because it provides revenue for operation of the CDC. One particular project that we work with a nonprofit here in Charlotte, they have an actual project where they partner with a developer on the light rail line, and it's the only workforce housing project on the rail line expansion here in Charlotte. And basically what it comes out to is about 6 of the 40 units are affordable housing. And it's a way to give a long-term revenue stream for a nonprofit. So those are all rental units, but it gives a revenue stream long-term for a nonprofit. So that's just one example of ways to do it.
Let me ask you a question on that.
Okay.
And I never thought about nonprofits, commercial real estate generating income for nonprofits. Now we also have Every Black nonprofit, and what I'd like to do is, if you have some basic information about how that is done, and refer back to your company, I'd like to put it on Every Black nonprofit to let other people know about the other nonprofits know about ways to generate income for their organizations.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's sort of a new concept, and it's born out of the fact that, of course, it's hard. Now, there are grants out there, but not necessarily enough to sustain a nonprofit at times. And also, the municipalities are cutting back on funding towards nonprofits. So it's absolutely an idea I came up with that for Onpointe is a way to assist the community, assist nonprofits. The second way is working with for-profit firms. So we don't leave the companies out that are in it to gain a profit. And typically how we do that, someone will come to us that has an idea, but they don't know how to quantify that idea for the bank or for funding. So it might be an apartment complex where they want to develop a parcel that might still be residential land. Well, we help them to do that, and by providing them or giving a service in the form of a market study, as well as a feasibility study, which is the financial part. And those are items that any bank needs to even consider on funding a project.
Okay.
And the other way, so you might have an idea, or you could have a property looking for an idea. Well, if you can't quite figure out what the market says or market demand is for a particular area where your property sits, well, we can help you out with that as well. That's a market study, and then that's probably a smaller market study. And if you want it or plan on turning it into a bigger project, then we can help you with market as well as the feasibility study.
Yeah, those are great. There's a lot of good information there.
Thank you. And, you know, we talk about transforming communities. That's what it's all about. A lot of times we have great properties around, great stakeholders with ideas within the communities, but don't know how to turn those around into profitable ventures. And so we definitely like to be a part of changing communities.
I don't know if you noticed, but there's a question that came in.
Yes. Hello, Audrey. Welcome to the show. You said, do your firm find the property for the clients? Yes, that's a part of our service. We are a brokerage firm licensed by the state of North Carolina. So we can not only find the property, but negotiate a deal on the property. And we normally package that as part of the deal. So if we're doing a development consulting agreement, then if we broker the property as well, that brokerage amount that we could receive on as proceeds on the transaction is taken out of the consultant fee. So great question, Audrey. Thank you.
Great.
And so the second manner into how we like to transform communities, we love what we do, is we love to see businesses opening in the community. And as you know, in many cases, we as African Americans may not own some of the businesses in the community, and we may not know how to get started in doing that. One of the things we often see is businesses opening and open for a while and then may close. So one of the things that we do to assist businesses and help them in long-term success is negotiating their lease agreements. We have over 6 years and have done thousands of lease negotiations on retail and office transactions. And we like to say that we help the tenant in the best way possible to sustain their business long term. As you know, one of the most expensive part of operating a business is the rent. And so it's very critical to have a strong lease in place so the business can be sustained long term. So example of how we do that, I recently did a deal where a barber already knew where he wanted his location to be, and he just needed help from me to negotiate the lease. Well, for a fee, we can solve that, and in some cases, we don't even need to find the property. We find the property, but in some cases, folks need help just on negotiating the lease. Also, you see businesses coming up for lease renewals. We step in there, and if the lease is not favorable, the renewal is not favorable, then we help to negotiate that for the existing tenant that's already in that space and want to stay. And that can be done with, of course, with advance notice and before they sign or go forth with committing to the new lease period.
Right.
Yeah. So, and so those are several ways that we help businesses be successful, or at least help them on the front end. Most leases are, at this period of time, is so many tenants looking for space than it is actual space. So that typically means most landlords at this point are not doing 3-year leases. 5 years are standard. So if you negotiate a bad lease up front, then you're committed to it for 5 years. A perfect example, and I've negotiated in the past 12 months a lease on a major restaurant here in the Charlotte community, where we were able to avoid personal guarantees on the lease. Well, and you may have to come forward with slightly a bit more money, but at least you don't personal guarantee a note for 5 years. And if the business, something, God forbids that something happens, but if it goes wrong, at least it's not tied to your personal credit.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are some of the methods we assist in it. Also, the latest trends when it comes to barbers and salons is the whole salon suite operations that are opening up. We would love to help anyone. That is a real estate development project when you want to open those up. So we have folks on our team that can help, including the part that I take care of, which is the real estate zoning and those issues. But we also have experts that are wise in opening salons on the operation side. That's just as important. So. And I'll pause a minute here, and Audrey has another question. She says, so you purchase property and develop the land or assist in locating properties of clients or investors? Well, let me at least be clear on that part. Our firm doesn't actually purchase the property. We represent, i.e. the investor or the tenant going in the space, and they have to either purchase or lease the property. So it's definitely on them when it comes to purchasing a property. Now, we do develop properties as well as a firm, and so we do have investor partners that invest in our projects. And so, Audrey, I hope that answers your question. So some folks, and I think I was clear on the salon suites part of it. That's an example of a development project where you need assistance on how to get the proper permits and those things. And that's what we do. We help through the full process, and also have people we can partner with that help on the operation side on the salon, which is very critical. The next thing is, so you might say, how do I get started? How do I become a part of this change in the community. So
Right.
it's not just On-Point partners that can do the change, it's folks in the community. And one of the first ways is to make sure that you own your own home. For African Americans or anyone, one of the biggest investments and the one that provides you some wealth over time is a home investment, a home purchase, and that's very important. Uh, there's a lot you can do with a rising value of a home, but it's absolutely important from a standpoint of credit and all the other things that help when you're purchasing investments or those types of things. So first and foremost, you should own your own home in whatever community it is. Second, if you really want to change a community, or especially transitional communities, underserved communities, is to buy a investment property. Often you see other races owning homes in our neighborhoods, and that's fine. But if we want true change in our communities, then we have to be the ones first investing in our communities. And so, as you know, quite a number of dollars, I think the last account was about $1.3 trillion a year is within the Black community, but it doesn't stay in long at all. And so these are ways that we can begin to change things in the communities, is actually owning investment properties or more than one. But if you can determine your neighbor in those neighborhoods, then you can absolutely be a catalyst for change in your community. The next way, of course, I said buying rental property, which is most important. Another way is, once you own rental property, is pooling your money with other investors. As you know, many of these strip centers in our communities may not be owned, and most are not owned by people in our community. And what we can do is begin to own these strip centers. Just like the folks that have purchased them, there's always opportunity for retail. As you know, African Americans spend the most on retail based on any other race. And so absolutely, we need to be the ones that's providing the structures to house those retail establishments. And so pooling your money with investors is an absolutely great idea for making that happen. And that's something that as On-Point partners can handle by bringing together investors and actually handling the actual transaction of developing these properties. So all we need is folks that's willing to get out there and be investors and change the community. Absolutely need those need that help. We need to be first be a catalyst and be the ones leading the efforts and changes in our communities. We can't rely on the government or anyone to make those changes. Nothing can really stop us if we come together on it. Are there any other questions that the audience may have?
Well, I just had one question for you, Mr. Carter. Over the years with your business, what's been the trend? Have you been doing more development, more leases? I mean, what's been the trend with your business? And also, where do you want to take your business in the future?
Well, I started in this business in 2005, at least striking out as an entrepreneur with no opportunity to fall back on a corporate job. So I've been out in 2005. But actually, I started investing in real estate in 1999 in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where my interest came. And it was by buying homes, living in them, rehabbing them, living in them, and moving to another one and renting one out. So I've seen a lot of change. Of course, I struck out on my own in 2005. And as you know, in 2007, the market went south. So having lost everything and had to make a comeback, I did do that. So in 2010, came down here to Charlotte to take advantage of the opportunities here. And so what happened here in Charlotte is no short of amazing. So the trend that I've seen, we started out as a brokerage firm here in Charlotte. This year, we actually opened in 2011, and this made our 5-year anniversary. And the trends now, since the market has come back, is investing in single family homes. That is absolutely a way to build wealth, and the market is growing smarter. You don't see the growth that we saw back in the early 2000s, so which is a good thing. So the market is growing smarter, and it's absolutely a way to build wealth, because as you know, there are more people looking for housing than there are housing. So that just means that rents are high and landlords are making a lot of money, and that's the direction. Another thing that you see is we in the African American community are starting to shake and move things. There's a need now to focus around coming together and in pooling and investing money, because as we know, the change in political tide is going in a different direction. So we must look to ourselves to take advantage of opportunities and create opportunities for ourselves. And so that's the other major trend and shift that we see now.
Okay.
Specifically, you also asked about my business. Onpointe is continuing to grow, and we're moving more into development of larger commercial deals. Also, we have ideas to move into the housing sector as far as asset management and those types of things. We have to become catalyst for change. So while I initially rejected doing any residential, it's just a change in tide, and opportunities are out there. There are many people that need housing, and we feel like that we can bring a solid service through our partnerships with other firms.
Okay. I guess one other thing, how do people reach you if they want to use your services?
Well, we can be reached at www.onpointepartners.com, and that's spelled ONPOINTE, and partners with an S. Also, you can find us on Facebook at Onpointe Partners, and also on Twitter at Onpointe Partner without an S. But we're the only Onpointe out there with a E on it, so you can easily find us. Also, you'll find contact information with our office number on that website, as well as email addresses. So definitely feel free to reach out to us, and with any questions, we'd love to hear from you. And definitely like our social media page. We're in the midst of a new push to put new content out there. So we want folks out there to receive our information and our coming newsletters as well.
Okay, great. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add, or?
Yeah, we really are in a time where we have to begin to work harder on changing our community. As you know, there's a lot going on around with policing and murders and those types of things. We're responsible for our own neighborhood, so we have to first start at home. And we definitely Onpointe plans on being a catalyst for that change, and welcome any other folks that would like to get into the conversation with us and be a part of that change. And most of all, thank you, Jimmy, for allowing me this time to to present and tell more about Onpointe Partners.
Well, thank you. Even though I've known you for a little while, I've learned some things tonight myself, so I really appreciate it. So again, tonight we had Mr. Dorian Carter of Onpointe Partners out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, next week we have Dr. Bobby Banks will be on with us. And then the following week will be Vicki Denise Granberry, a professional cosmetologist. So again, we want to give thanks to Mr. Carter, and you can reach us next week, same time, 8 o'clock. Every Thursday, we'll have another expert for your viewing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's a wrap.